Hey there, curious minds. Buckle up, because today we're diving into a topic that might just blow your mind, or at least make you raise an eyebrow while you sip your morning coffee. We're talking about consciousness, and not just any consciousness, but the kind that might kick in before you even take your first breath. Yes, you heard that right. A recent study has suggested that some form of conscious experience could exist in babies before they're even born. So, let's unpack this fascinating topic and explore what it means for our understanding of consciousness and maybe even life itself. Now, before you start picturing tiny babies in the womb pondering the meaning of life or debating the merits of pineapple on pizza, let's get a little more scientific. Researchers, led by Timothy Bain, PhD, from Monash University, have been delving into this intriguing idea. According to their findings, there are 4 key markers that hint at potential conscious awareness in infants. And no, these aren't just random thoughts like, I really hope my parents like me, or what's the deal with umbilical cords? These markers are rooted in some pretty serious brain science. First up, we have the default mode network. This sounds fancy, doesn't it? It's like the brain's version of a cozy couch where thoughts can lounge around. This network is connected to self-awareness, which means that if a baby's brain is lighting up in this area, they might just have a sense of me before they even make their grand entrance into the world. Imagine a baby in the womb thinking, I am here and I am fabulous. Next, we have the attentional blink effect. Now, I know what you're thinking. What on earth is that? Well, it's that moment when you're trying to focus on something and suddenly you miss something important because your brain can only handle so much at once. If babies exhibit this effect, it suggests they can focus on certain stimuli while filtering out the rest. So, they might be tuning into your favorite tunes or the sound of your voice while ignoring that annoying construction noise outside. It's like they're saying, yeah, I hear you, Mom, but that jackhammer, not my vibe. Then we have multisensory integration, which is just a fancy way of saying that babies might combine information from different senses. This is showcased by something called the McGurk effect. In simpler terms, it's when what we see influences what we hear. If a baby can integrate sounds and sights, it's a sign that their brain is already doing some impressive multitasking. So, if they hear you singing while feeling the rhythm of your heartbeat, they might just be jamming out in there, having the time of their life. Finally, we have the P300-like brain response, which sounds like a robot from a sci-fi movie, but is actually a brainwave pattern that occurs when we encounter something unexpected. If babies show this response to stimuli, it could indicate that they have some level of awareness about their surroundings. Picture it. A baby hears a loud noise and thinks, whoa, what was that? It's like their first encounter with the outside world, and they're already taking mental notes for future reference. Now, before we get too carried away with the idea of babies being little philosophers in the womb, Bain does offer a word of caution. He emphasizes that the evidence is still inconclusive. Just because we see some brain activity doesn't mean that babies are having the same conscious experiences as adults. It's more like a baby's consciousness is a completely different flavor. Think vanilla versus rocky road. Sure, they're both ice cream, but one is way more complex than the other. This study raises some really intriguing questions about the nature of consciousness itself. What does it mean to be conscious? Is it merely about brain activity, or is there something deeper at play? And what about the origins of consciousness? Are we born with it, or do we develop it through our experiences? These are questions that have puzzled philosophers and scientists for centuries, and while we're not going to solve them all today, it's fun to think about where our consciousness comes from. Imagine if we could somehow tap into the thoughts of a fetus. What would they say? "Hey, Mom, could you lay off the spicy tacos? They're making me kick." Or maybe, "Can you put on some more Mozart? I'm trying to develop my brain here." It's a whimsical thought, but it also highlights how little we truly understand about the early stages of life. And let's not forget the implications this has for how we view pregnancy and the development of human beings. If there's a possibility that babies have some form of consciousness before birth, it might change how we approach prenatal care and the way we talk about the experience of pregnancy. Suddenly, it's not just about keeping the baby safe and healthy. It's also about nurturing their potential consciousness. Imagine a world where parents are reading to their babies in the womb, playing classical music, or even engaging in conversations about the weather. "Oh, little one, it's a sunny day outside. I hope you love the sunshine as much as I do." It sounds a bit silly, but who knows? Maybe those early interactions could have a lasting impact on their development. So, what does this all mean for you and me? Well, for starters, it's a reminder that consciousness is a complex and mysterious phenomenon. We often take our ability to think, feel, and experience the world for granted. But the truth is, we're still figuring out how it all works. This study opens up new avenues for research and exploration, and who knows what we might discover in the future. Maybe we'll find out that consciousness is like a light switch that gets flipped on at different stages of life. Or perhaps it's a gradual dimmer that slowly brightens as we grow. In the meantime, we can take a moment to appreciate the wonder of life and the incredible journey that begins even before we take our first breath. Whether you believe in the idea of consciousness before birth or not, it's hard to deny that the human experience is a remarkable tapestry woven together by countless threads of thought, emotion, and discovery. So, the next time you see a baby, remember that they might just be more aware than you think. They could be soaking in all the love, laughter, and chaos around them, preparing for their grand debut into the world. And who knows? Maybe they're even dreaming about the adventures that await them. After all, life is a wild ride, and it all starts with that first spark of consciousness, whether it happens in the womb or on the day they take their first breath. Thanks for tuning in to this mind-bending exploration of consciousness. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the idea of consciousness before birth? Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the wonders of the world around you.